Well, now we come to the end of our journey. Seems fitting to be here at an airport as we think of God's mission, my mission. This one's entitled The End of God's Mission, number 13 in our series. And I suppose it rather does depend on what you think God's mission was in the first place as to whether you think we've come to the end of his mission. Was his mission just to come and save us? In which case, when we come to the conclusion of the second coming, then that is the end of the mission, I suppose. But if God's mission is to reveal himself and to show what he's really like and to spend time with his people, to develop a relationship, well, that's not going to be coming to an end. It does remind me of some of the things that we sing too. You remember that hymn about Sweet Hour of Prayer? And the last verse says that I'll sing as I fly through the air, farewell, farewell, sweet hour of prayer. But if prayer is talking to God as to a friend, then that's going to continue throughout all eternity, isn't it? So we do need to rethink our perspective on mission as to really what God's intention actually is. Given a lot of material there in Revelation, especially Revelation, the very end, 21 and of course 22. But God himself will be with them and be their God. Yes, that's what we're looking forward to. That's really what this is all about, and knowing him as he truly is. Not simply to say, well, we've been saved and that's it. We are also going to be speaking of our experience to all those who haven't had that experience, to angels, so on, to tell them what it was like and to sing God's praises for his redemption of us, but more importantly, as Revelation makes clear, to sing the praises of God for he is worthy because he has done what is right. And to me, that's the more important thing that we should be learning as we look at mission. Line from, well, in this case, Semisonic, a band, but going back to Roman philosophers, that closing time is that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. We see all of this world coming to an end, and maybe that's scary for some, but in the Christian perspective, recognizing that when Jesus comes again, that's the beginning of a whole new life. You know, I often think of things in terms of an airport lounge where I am right now. This is not the flight. The flight begins when I get on that plane. So it is with us here on earth. This life is not the flight. This is the airport lounge, and sometimes it does mean waiting around and being patient and so on, waiting for Jesus to come. The flight is still to come. 1 Thessalonians 4, we shall meet the Lord in the air. What an amazing opportunity that will be to talk one-to-one with our loving Lord, the one who's come back to save us, to be with us, and to really be the one who takes us home. And of course, remember that our home, contrary to what a lot of people think, is not in heaven. Revelation, we read that the new Jerusalem descends from heaven to this earth, and the new earth that is remade after the old earth has been completely remade, when even the elements have melted with fervent heat. This is where we will be, in the new earth, and that is our objective. That's where we are going to be, with our God. God himself will be with them and be their God. Won't need any external lights, won't need the sun or the moon, because God himself is the one who gives light. What an amazing perspective that will be, and how foolish it would be to miss out on that. So as we think of mission and God's mission, our mission, God's mission, my mission, let's remember that God's mission is not simply about saving us, but that good is vindicated, truth is demonstrated to be right, And his way is the only way that makes sense and the only way that leads to eternal life. Let's understand that as the end of God's mission.